educate the students, give them a good moral, firm moral
foundation. Then you could turn and do a shot of Jean Harlow.
Don't forget Jean Harlow up there on the wall.
I'm going to go downstairs for a minute.
Sex and drugs are what we try to teach here most.
Candle wax on the nipples, all that good stuff.
You can ask me questions, or?
Yeah, I'll ask you a couple. Just
Okay.
what exactly is it? How do you prepare for a new play that's going to be? Like, how do you make the new season? How do you pick the plays? You just read a bunch of plays, or?
Okay. Why don't, you mind me helping you here? Why don't we start? Okay, you ready?
Yep.
You tell me when. Oh, we've got a unique problem here, and that is that when we pick a season, we have to choose something that will, number one, entertain our audience and be competitive in the marketplace with all the other theaters and so on, so we sell tickets and so on. But we also have to pick things that will help our students learn and put them to their best advantage. So we've got a kind of a two-pronged problem. And what we do is we just, all of the directors read as many plays as we can possibly read and hand them to each other, switch them around, and then we get it down to kind of a master list, and from that list, then we decide what would be a good role for the various faculty members. Our whole operation here is centered around using professional actors with the students so that it looks like a professional theater in every way, shape, or form, except that many of the roles are done by students, and hopefully they learn more that way. And our track record has proven that's true. So after we get this kind of master list of plays, then we decide, is there a good role for Dr. Beer? Is there a good role for me? Are there good roles for the students, and so on? And that brings us to the current play we're doing right now, which is Below the Belt by Richard Dresser. And it's a three-hander, and two of the roles are students, and the third role is me. And we're in rehearsal right now. As a matter of fact, we're a week away from tech rehearsal and 2 weeks away from opening. And right as we speak now, the set is being worked on, and we're in rehearsal in the evenings, and I'm in the process of trying to learn my many lines. And it's a strange play, but it serves our purposes. It's kind of an off-Broadway approach, which is what we do. We don't have the facilities to do things like the Fisher and Meadowbrook and so on, so we gear most of our stuff to kind of off-Broadway, new, not necessarily brand new plays, but plays that haven't been done much, and things that are a little more considered off-Broadway probably than commercial fare. And we mix that for our audiences with stuff that will give our students good opportunities, and that's how we come up with our seasons. And in the last 25, we've been relatively successful.
It's running late. Cherry Hill didn't have the press labels, so we need to put a press release into campus mail for the Varsity News. So one of the envelopes that you stuffed, put the VN campus mail on it, and then we'll get it over there. Otherwise, they'll never get it.
What's going on there, Marsh?
Hey, it's Lonnie.
It's the guy with the camera. You look like you're the guy in Rent.
I am.
You know the guy, did you see previous to that? He's filming their eviction from this apartment, all these transvestites and everything. We don't have any transvestites in here, but we do have David Regal. Oh, he's still here too. See? We're gonna be in Marshall's movie.
Yeah, and I need you to speak, please.
Who?
You.
I just did.
No, I mean,
I
I
spoke.
need you to tell me what you do. what it is that you do.
What is this for?
Very little, very little.
It's for
What do I do?
I'll give you a nice article there that throw away when you get through it.
I don't know, I talk to David a lot when he's here and we're here together.
We're hardly
Then
here
when
together.
he's not here, Beth and I talk a lot. And I have this beautiful computer here that I don't know how to use.
Because it doesn't really work anyway.
But one day it'll be good.
I mean, it only works to.
And I advise
so it doesn't-
students.
It's not on a network.
Yeah, but all that means is we don't
These
have
are
email.
advising forms.
Everything else is all.
I make phone calls on a phone that rings like
Tune
this.
into,
So it rings. I hope it rings while you're here so you could kindly get.
I want to be able to break into.
I decorate
No.
my office. You'll notice all the memorabilia around. And this is my newest thing that I have from growing up female. I'll show you this. This is very cool. Did you see this? All my cast members made it for me. It's in our reviews and stuff right here. Anyway, it's thanks for the magic, because that's what they said. It was so cool.
Marsh,
and it
this is
opens-
deteriorating your film.
No, it
I know.
isn't.
Yes, it is. This
What's
was
it supposed to be about?
about the theater company and
Oh, he
serious
didn't say
work,
that.
and the serious artists who work here,
Oh, he didn't say
Behind the
that.
scenes at the theater.
behind the scenes.
I didn't know this. was
Anyway,
on the
that is nice, but couldn't they have given you something to eat with it? I mean, it's in a cake
Oh, there
box.
was always other food too. But oh, you want serious stuff like what do we do with the theater company? In my office or in classes?
both.
In classes, they're doing auto dramas now, and Arthur's very jealous that he's not seeing the auto dramas
Why?
because they're big revelations that the students make about their life in very theatrical ways, and they never are like that on stage. They're all very funny and moving, all at the same time.
Well, why can't they do that on stage?
I know, that's what we're exploring. Why can't we do that on stage? So it's a big issue of freeing themselves emotionally, and that's what this semester is about for me, because that's what I teach in voice, and that's what I teach in acting. And they kind of go together, so they shore up each other, and hopefully one reinforces the other and makes the other one easier. That's why I kind of planned it that way. There is a plan to this, except now you made me, I took my sunglasses off, and now I can't see Marshall, so I got to find my other glasses.
Well,
No,
so-
I wouldn't say that.
Gossip about faculty.
I wouldn't say that. We could say gossip about faculty.
and what do you
too.
know about my dad? What should I know?
Oh, what should you know? You probably could tell us more stories than we could tell you.
Okay, you want to know something?
Lots.
I bet. We could tell you we're starting a women's Shakespeare company that's not part of U of D, but all the glory that we have will come back to him. And he has this one over here. And Arthur wants to do a web page on it. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
I told you he wants to do a web page on it, but I gotta talk to you about that first. And then,
Why? Me? I don't even know what a webpage is.
A webpage, that's on the internet.
yeah, it's on the internet. People punch up our university.
I know more about this than you think.
And
What I
what,
think.
what,
Now you don't.
oh, I just got back from New York, seeing some plays. I found 2 potential plays for us for next season.
That's interesting.
David, I didn't give you the other play though,
What play?
Old Wicked Songs, which is the other play that,
Also, what you have to do is, again, you're at the ladder, at the pin rail. And down on the floor by the pin rail, there's a little cardboard box. In that are some dog clips and some various kinds of clips so that you can put this on. If you just bring a piece of chain, I can't attach it to the screw on it, right? So you have to get at least 4 of those. So 2 pieces of chain, 24 to 30 inches long, and 4 clips, either up in the ceiling or on the ladder.
Okay. We didn't bring any bags in the boxes?
I don't think so, that's mostly speaker cable. You can look,
I
but
think
I
I
don't
might
think
have,
so.
for some reason, I think I might have set them next to the speakers, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we can go up there and check. See, originally I had safety cables on this, like airplane cable clips. We'll use those along the lights, and so I should do chain, because these are gonna stay. Okay? The switching pine and go over and come back as soon as we can. That's what we call it. Yeah, so, and when we don't get done, we'll be done. And talk to Laura and reassure her by you doing sound. She was a little freaky that it would work. She didn't know.
Yeah, well, does everyone want me to do it for sure, definitely, or just for those few days?
Well, it doesn't really matter what you want.
All right, Mark Chinsky. Tell us what it is that you do and how you help the students become better performers?
Well, I'm the technical director at the theater company. What that means is that I am responsible for all technical aspects of a production except costuming. Normally, in a larger theater department or professional resident theater like Meadowbrook or a place like that, they would have a much larger staff. Here we are a staff of two, Melinda Pacia and myself, who do the designing and all the construction, all the building. We mount a production is the way we say it. And what that means is either Melinda or myself will design a production, and scenically, there are three, sometimes four aspects to the design process. One is set design, lighting design, costume design, and now in professional theater also sound design. Melinda and I
Melinda, and you what?
Melinda and I share the design duties scenically. I design all the lighting unless I have a competent student who can do the designing. For instance, in this current production of Below the Belt, I have a student named Dan Glomsky who has worked with me for a number of years, who is designing the lights because he's a pretty good designer, and he's an excellent designer, I should say. And he wanted to design lights. Melinda has designed this set, and I am building it or executing it as part of my technical director duties. I am more or less responsible for all of the technical aspects, like I said, except for costumes. I do not deal with costumes. Melinda both designs and builds the costumes. In a larger department, there would be a lighting designer, a costume designer, a set designer, a technical director, and we have to do the work of 4 people. We also have the added complication, or should I say problem sometimes, that we do not have technical theater students who major in tech theater. Wayne State University has such an animal. People can specialize in technical theater. All of our students are actors, acting students, acting or directing, and they have to help Melinda and myself mount a production, have to help us build and everything else. So what I do is I usually hire a student, a work study student from the outside to work with me, and that one work study student and myself do the bulk of the work, and then the rest of the theater company will work at certain times. I have an excellent student carpenter this year named Michael Frankowiak. I hope I pronounced his last name right. But he's an engineering student who has been working with me for a year and a half now, worked with me last year. And as long as I have one good, competent student working with me, he and I can do the bulk of the work successfully. And like I'm fond of saying, if everybody stays out of our way, we can get the job done. We don't need a huge crew.
Great. Can you show us your tools? Do you have a tool on you?
I have a tape measure.
All right, let's take a look at that.
We have all kinds of
This is
power
the
tools.
foundation.
Interesting footnote. Michael, could you hand me one of the power drills, please?
Oh, no, not a power wheel. We're in
Power
trouble.
screwdrivers?
Sorry.
Would you like to say anything, Michael?
Say hi, Mom.
Back when I was in college, and that wasn't too long ago, we did not have
Too long
power
ago.
screwdrivers. the reason I'm bringing this up and mentioning it is it's really a time saver. Believe it or not, these did not exist a number of years ago. But, and why were you cutting me off?
go ahead.
Are you gonna edit this?
Yeah, I'm editing it, but
No, the reason I'm saying it's important is because theater and scenery is, they're temporary structures. We build something, and years ago, a designer told me it should be lightweight and portable because we build it, and in 3 weeks, we're gonna be tearing it down. We do not build structures that have to last for 50 years, 100 years, like a house or an exterior building. So by using a power screwdriver, we screw most things together rather than nail them. And when we strike a set, which means tear it down for those who are theatrically
ignorant.
technology, no, I don't think of the word. Knowing the terminology. No, theatrical terminology impaired. Strike means remove the set. So an electric or cordless screwdriver is a great thing to have. Everyone should have one.
Smile.
Now we have to make some noise.
Hey.
Hi, how you doing? Welcome to the wonderful world of costuming. This is what we do all day, exactly what you said.
And what is it exactly you're doing?
Actually, I am doing a shirt. Here it is, marvelous thing. Has a hood on it, nice little double over flap here. It'll look good once I get it finished, but I see now it's not finished yet. And Melinda's putting our surgery back together again.
So this is Melinda.
This is called the surgery. This is what makes, let me see if I can find it for you. This is what makes a finished seam so that your clothes don't ravel. And it's a very time-consuming little beastie, I have to tell you. Oh, we hold our breath most days. Well, I've already adjusted that. The thread keeps coming out of here. Well, that was loose. I mean, usually when you hear it clatter, you know it's not right. But at any rate, there he is. Some days are easier than others. What do you want to know about costuming? Is that what you want to know?
Yeah, costuming
Okay.
and set design and
Well,
what you need to do and how it starts. You know,
how
do you
it
read the
starts.
play?
Well, we start pretty much by reading the play. It's gosh, this is like my intro to theater lecture. When you read the play, you try to figure out not only what you need to make the play happen in terms of furniture and clothing and that sort of thing, but you try to find what you can do specifically to tell the audience more about the character than what they just hear. You try to add to it. So you use elements of design that I'm sure
you learn in a lot of your other classes, especially communications classes. I'm sure you talk about things like line and color and how they can affect our view of something. So you try to evoke a mood, is what you try to do, and you try to solve, in terms of costuming, you try to not only evoke a mood or give a sense of the character, but you also try to help the director bring across their ideas, and you try to help the actor figure out who the character is to a certain extent. They do a lot of the work, but we can give them a lot of clues, and that comes across in not only the clothing that they wear, but the objects they use and the space around them. Just like you can tell a lot about your friends by walking into their dorm rooms, or walking into somebody's house. You can make certain assumptions about the people that live there. Well, in theater, we do that deliberately to try to take you through a process. And this is where we do part of that. Having trouble getting my machine to work today. It's kind of unfortunate because the last show in Sly Fox, we probably had, and it varies a lot, the job varies. The last show, Sly Fox, we probably had, I think, 17 actors in the show. And when it was all said and done, we probably had close to 400 pieces of costuming, including shoes and walking sticks and gloves and hats and this and that and the other thing. So you work very, very hard, as compared to a show like this that we're getting ready for, Below the Belt, where I've only got three actors. And no costume changes to speak of. So you're going all the way from 400 pieces in one show down to maybe 30 in this show. The last show had a total of 4 sets or 4 different scenes. This show never changes. So, I mean, sometimes you're just overwhelmed, and sometimes it's very, very simple. What else can I do for you?
That was great.
Front elevations and back plans. Compare and contrast those to what's really going on upstairs. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. He's gonna leave. It would be interesting. Yeah, when you get it done. When you get it done someday.
You guys ready?
I don't even have a watch. Just use this.
So I know what times to make usually.
Do you ever get calls from Affiliated or Talent Shop anymore?
Me. I did that big job about a month ago, but I haven't had since.
I never hear from them at all. Everybody calls me directly now.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, they just all direct call. I mean, I wondered if are they losing business? Is something? But everybody who I'm dealing with calls me directly. I'm with the
Well, I'm
problem.
not getting that. I'm getting
The
this.
problem I hate about that is if they call you directly, you save the commission, but nobody bills, and I don't know how to bill people and do all the, you know what I mean? That's the problem. That's the problem. So you save the nice 15% commission.
But don't they fill out the form? Anybody I ever worked for filled out the form. Both SAG and AFTRA.
Oh, sure, but at the same time, your agent, Affiliated earns their 15% by billing and making sure that you're paid within 30 days and all that stuff.
Hey, did you know that your name's on a big old list in the window at the talent shop of people whose headshots they don't have?
Yeah, always. I used to have a big blank up there with my name just written on the wall when they have all the things up there.
I don't know. Both equity and AFTRA are supposed to see after you that way.
Yeah.
I just don't get work.
in here and tell me who I must be.
I'm David. You're not Hammerhand.
As it turns out, I am Hanrahan, but not because it happens to suit your purposes.
I'm sorry. It was an endless flight that we drove for hours through the desert. This is where they told me to stay.
You're staying here in my room?
It's a two-person room. They told me somebody was in here before.
Haney. He left early.
Why did he leave? Something happened?
Which bed?
Oh. It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. That one gets an icy wind off the desert, snapping right through it. Window won't close. Man could freeze to death in that bed.
Well, if it's all the same to you, then I'll take the other bed.
Suit yourself. That one's a sweatbox. Right next to the radiator, clanging in a man's ear like a train wreck all night long. You'll be begging for mercy by morning.
Well, why don't we move the beds?
Oh, that's an idea. That should solve everything. Except they're bolted to the floor. Lots of thievery on the compound.
They're stealing beds?
Now, since the bolts went in.
Which bed do you sleep in?
Both. Start off with the one by the window, and then when I start to freeze, I climb on the other one. Then when I can't breathe, I get up and start the day. I guess that's all over now that you're here.
I seem to have caught you at a bad time.
Oh?
Well, I fear I've upset you.
You've upset me. That's a bit grandiose, don't you think?
You seem disgruntled.
Gruntled or disgruntled, it has nothing to do with you.
Is that coffee?
Yes?
I feel as though I've been traveling forever. I should either sleep or try to revive myself. If there's any more coffee,
There's plenty more coffee.
I can get it myself.
Are you asking for more coffee?
Only if it's no bother.
Well, of course it's a bother.
Well, then please, forget it.
Now that I'm knee deep in it, you don't want any?
Well, if it's easier to continue.
Now look, I'm not a puppet on a string. You're gonna have to make up your mind, and you're gonna have to do it right now.
No coffee. I don't want to put you out.
You've already put me out. The question is whether or not you want any coffee.
Well, everything else being equal, I would say yes to coffee.
Very well. Just means I'll have to make a whole new pot for myself.
Well, then you take this, please.
No.
No, I insist.
Oh,
God.
Look what you've done!
Terribly sorry. It was an accident.
If you would have made up your mind, this never would have happened. Wow. That's Merkin. Sounds upset. Come on, David. Time to meet the boss.
I'd stay.
See? All blue.
Lights up.
Welcome, David. I'm Merkin.
I'm thrilled to be here, Merkin.
Thrilled. That seems a bit extreme.
Well, it's my first off-country assignment. I've had extensive experience in country, however.
Yes, we've read your file. Frankly, we know more about your life than we'd like. Make yourself comfortable. On November 5th, we're delivering the largest order this company has received. The work must be meticulously checked if we're to avoid penalties and crippling lawsuits and a tarnished reputation that could bring the corporation to its knees. Unfortunately,
Will you be standing there long?
Here.
Yes, there. That's exactly what I meant when I said there.
Is there someplace else I should stand?
This is my favorite time of the whole day. Night coming on. Looking at the river. All by myself.
I don't know where else to go. There are limited vistas for observing the sunset.
This is my view. It cheapens it somehow, having you look at exactly the same thing as me.
I'd be happy to look at something else. Over there, for instance.
You won't know what I'm looking at, so how will you know what's safe for you to look at?
I'll look over this way and you look over that way.
Some of my favorite things are this way. stream. That's the only solution if you're to remain here.
All right. Is the river always like this? I don't believe I've ever encountered such a color in nature before.
Color varies according to our manufacturing schedule. By Thursday, it positively glows.
Listen, Hammerhand, I'm sorry for anything I might have said about your typing.
What did Merkin say about my typing?
I think he said you were sensitive about it.
Well, I'm not. He's just feeding you some garbage like you're some sort of barnyard animal. Now he's having a good laugh watching you snort and root around in his rancid trough.
But why would he say something like that if it weren't true?
You'll soon learn that Merkin's brain has a mind of its own.
In any event, I never would have said it had I known.
Do I seem sensitive to you? Do I?
I think it's best not to discuss it.
We are discussing it, David. My penmanship. It's smoother than that. Are we on track? Are we?
Very smooth.
But are we close to the?
Yeah, I think you're closer than you've been. I think
Good, good.
We're getting where Hammerhand ought to be. I've got a couple notes about that, but
Yeah.
I think we're on track.
Good,
Aiming toward the right direction.
good. You know, here's something that I still don't understand. Come up here because you need to see it.
Yeah.
You can see that there's nowhere to hide here
Oh.
without being seen by about.
Whatever, man. You can come and sit down, or
Here, I'll sit right here.
it's camera. You see the hair, dude.
People walking around.
Sweet.
Where's Mars? This is me.
This is Dan Golomsky.
This is Dan Glomsky.
This is his environment. There's somebody walking behind him.
People
All right.
walking around.
Tell me what you do, man. Tell me
What
what's
do I
the
do?
prep.
Well, you know, I'm the lighting designer here at the University of Detroit Mercer Theater Company. My job is to make sure that this place right here, the set, gets lit, and it gets lit good, so, or well. It's a small space, so we have to do different, like the instruments don't really do what they're supposed to do because it's so small. But, you know, 4 years of here taught me, you know, how to use these spaces and use gels and textures and creating mood, and that's what I do. I create the mood. Anything else? Steps are, I watch the show in rehearsal so I know where the blocking is and where they're going to be, and then I draw a plot. We have a grid up above us here where the lights go. I draw up a plot, which is a preliminary drawing of where the lights go and where they throw, and then that also includes the circuits and the dimmers that they go into to make sure that they have the power. And then we come in and we hang them all, and then I find out how much my plot is not working, and I fix that. And then the final product is pretty much nothing like the initial plot. But it's still, you know, that's the process. You come in and you play with it. You know, you make a guess, and then your guess doesn't work, and you fix it. And then the next time, you know what works and what doesn't because you fixed it last time.
Congratulations, guys.
I gotta go pick up.
No, not that kind of art, like the artistic art. Meaning
Cameras make people do funny things.
Yeah, they do really.
Actually,
Chuck's ignoring me.
How's it feel to be a star?
Well, I'm gonna regret saying this, but I've had to pee ever since lockdown.
So why don't you go take a pee?
Well, because I'm entertaining my fans.
Oh, okay.